Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to Douglass Week one last time, because this is the final event. This is our closing event of Douglass Week 2022. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for being here with us. It's been an amazing week, and we are happy that everyone is joining us today. One of the people who's joining me is my lovely colleague, Kristen. I am Dr. Caroline Dunham-Schroeder. I'm the founder of Douglass Week, and with me is lovely Kristen, who is one of the co-founders of Douglass Week. Kristen, welcome to this last event.
Thank you. It's the last event. Thanks to everyone who's been participating and questioning and attending and enjoying our Douglass Week programming over the course of this week. We really appreciate all of your support and your attendance. We also appreciate very much the support of our backers and our funders at the Irish Embassy in the United States, the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Immigrant Support Program, the U.S. Department of State, and the U.S. Embassy in Dublin in particular, the Fulbright Commission, the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives, Cork City Council, and many others.
Yeah, I was going to say, and all the contributors and all the other partners, all the people, you won't believe how many people have been involved in creating this 1 week of events. It's been a roller coaster ride, and it's been so great. And we could not have done this without the support of our wonderful team and all of our partners, our collaborators, and our supporters. So thank you so much for this and for being here for us and with us. And I guess, Kristen, looking back at last year, 2021, our first Douglass Week that we did. So this year was the second one. And we have grown so much. The community has grown a lot. And our social media presence, our YouTube, our team, the people who are involved, everything has developed and evolved and grown. And it's been so energizing. And it's really great to see this. And we're so happy that you're all part of this. And there have been so many events this week, and I'm sure that some of our audiences may have missed a few. So don't worry, everything is here on YouTube, and everything is available, and recordings will be available. So you will get to see lots of the events that we want to talk to you about now, Kristen, won't we?
We will, and I will say on the note of continuing to develop more collaborations and partnerships, we're really excited that so many of our participants and our co-creators from Douglass Week 2021 chose to join us and dedicate their time and their energy and their expertise to Douglass Week 2022, and we're so appreciative of those partners. We're especially appreciative of our new partners, but we hope to, as we've done with Douglass Week and our programming, to continue to add on to all of the programming and collaborations that we've established in years past. But for this event right now, our last event, we wanted to provide a little bit of a recap of the week that is just being completed now. And so you have a little flavor of it there.
Yeah, here's just a few impressions of just our Instagram channel, our Instagram account, to just show you just some of this is just literally just a few events, but just to show you how amazing, how creative, how colorful and beautiful this past week has been, and what a week it's been. We've talked so much about allyship and empowerment, about social justice. We've talked about creating positive narratives and creative spaces, about safe spaces for conversations. We talked about resistance and resilience and agency, representation. We've talked about so many topics. We've learned so much about Douglass and his family, which was one of our main focuses this year. And I'd say, Kristen, maybe we just start off with a little overview or recap off each day, and we'll call on some of our friends who are either here in person or who are joining us through a video message. So I'd say, Kristen, maybe we start with day one, won't we? Because
day
that
was seems so far long ago at this point.
Yeah,
and I'm remiss in mentioning our partners and our supporters. CGI Communications in Rochester has been a great partner who was with us here in DC this weekend. So I didn't want to forget their friendship and support as well. But yes, day one seems like a long time ago. But it was only last Thursday.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but I was thinking also, Kristen, that as we go through the event, we'll probably mention a few more partners. So in case we've forgotten anything or anyone, we'll probably talk about you a little bit later in the show. And let's start with day one, I'd say. And we kick things off with a really fascinating conversation called A Conversation on Douglas being Irish and being Irish in modern day Ireland. And that was a perfect kickoff. We talked about migrants in Ireland, Irishness. We talked about identity and representation. We heard from so many really fantastic speakers. We talked about their inspiration, how and why they were inspired by Frederick Douglass. And it was a fantastic event. And we look forward to having them all back next year, because they actually, Dr. Amanullah Dasandi at UCC, he led the very first conversations on race last year. That was the very first event for Douglas Week 2021. And he did the same thing this year for 2022. So thank you at this point to Aman. Kristen, what was next?
Yes, thank you, Aman. Forever in your debt. Yes, a great example of continuation from 2021 to 2022. Yes, also on day one, our friends at the Fulbright Commission in Ireland hosted a conversation on Indigenous languages with some really interesting research on both Native American languages and the Irish language. And that was a wonderful and really far-ranging discussion about contemporary culture and the importance of preserving past culture and language and heritage. And we're really excited to have been able to host that conversation, and we hope to be working with them all of the presenters on that panel, as well as the Fulbright Commission in the future as well.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit more about Fulbright too, because they actually did a couple of events with us this year, which we're very grateful for. But also one of the great things this year, last year we were completely exclusively online because of the global pandemic, and this year we were actually able to host a few in-person live events, and that was really great and rewarding. And we hope that 2023 brings even more of that. And one of these events was a really great talk by one of our Douglas Week team members and good friend, Dr. Lawrence Fenton, who actually gave a talk at the Cork Library, the Cork City Library, and they're doing a really amazing thing. And if you're in Cork, you might still be able to catch that. They have an exhibit that highlights Douglas's time in Ireland in 1845 and 1846, so his first trip to Ireland, which is a really, really great exhibition. Go check out their online presence, really nice. So Cork City Library, thank you for that. And thank you, Lawrence, for giving a really invigorating and very insightful a conversation and talk about abolitionists in Cork and anti-slavery activism in Cork City. What else did we do, Kristen, on Thursday?
Yeah, on day one, we also started the first in a series of conversations and discussions with local DC historian John Muller, who we're really thankful for the amount of time that he's devoted to Douglas Week this year, not only in some online conversations, but also in person, hosting 2 walking tours during the course of the week that I know were really popular in-person events. And we're really excited to partner with him on those. The first conversation with John was on Thursday, and it was about Douglas and sports. and he has some really interesting, revealing research on the relationship in actually the entire Douglass family and sports, particularly here in DC, but also Frederick Douglass himself talking about the power of representation for some Black sports figures of his time, and Douglass as a master of certainly the use of photography as a tool for change, recognizing the power of Black representation in sports. And I think that's a conversation that we hope to continue through other programming at Douglass Week as well in the future.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, we've come full circle. We just finished our very last programming event, a panel on sports, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But for now, I think we've said so much. I would love to hand over to our wonderful friend, Kenneth B. Morris Jr. He's a descendant of Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington. We had the great pleasure to do quite a few events with him, and we want to say thank you, Ken, for being with us.
Thank you, Ken.
for spending so much time and energy and giving us so much of your love and your interest and inspiring us every time we get together. So let's hear from Ken, and thank you, Ken.
Hello, this is Kenneth B. Morris Jr. Today is a travel day for me, so please forgive my informal appearance. We've had a great time and some great conversations with all of you during Douglass Week. I've particularly enjoyed learning more about my own family during my Douglass Dialogues conversations with Professor Celeste Marie Bernier from the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. I hope you're able to visit the Douglass Week YouTube channel if you didn't have a chance to join us for those conversations live. I also want to highlight the amazing talent and commitment and inspiration on display last night at Arena Stage in DC when we held a commemoration in word and song of Frederick Douglass and the Douglass family. We were joined by my good friends Charles Randolph Wright, Marcus Hummon, the Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton, and other talented performers to celebrate the life and legacy of Frederick and Anna Murray Douglass. Our Rochester, New York-based organization has been very happy to collaborate with our friends and colleagues at Douglass Week, and we look forward to much more to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ken. We look forward to more to come in Douglass Week and beyond in collaboration with Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives. But for now, we'll move on to day 2 in our recap of Douglass Week. Day 2 saw, first and foremost, a conversation with the Fulbright Commission in Ireland folks about the launch of their new Frederick and Anna Murray Douglass Award for students in the United States who are looking to study in Ireland. And we encourage anyone, any young people or students who are researchers who are watching now to check out that program. They had a lot of information about how to apply, some tips and tricks in navigating through that system and becoming a Fulbrighter. So thank you to them for allowing us to host that information session.
Yeah, thank you to Fulbright. We also, on day 2, we also were able to enjoy a really great talk by the brilliant Dr. Hannah Rose Murray of the University of Edinburgh. And she actually discussed, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, that Douglass actually, he returned to Ireland and the UK twice, not once, twice. So he came back in the 1860s and the 1880s, and Hannah Rose actually did a brilliant talk. So encourage you to go to YouTube, to our channel and check it out. She did a brilliant overview of the things that changed for him and how he, perceived the Ireland and the UK and how that travel went. So really interesting conversation, really interesting talk with Hannah Rose. What else did we do, Kristen, on day 2?
We also, can't believe it was only day 2, we also had a great conversation in the continuation of our I Am Remarkable series with some really, really remarkable young people at Cork Migrant Center and at Nanonagle Place in Cork in Ireland. We were particularly excited to hear their stories and give them the space to tell their stories. And that was a really powerful event, as I say, once again, for Douglass Week. And for this year, we're especially grateful to Erica Mock, who is the Executive Director of Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives, and Councillor Mary Rose Desmond from Cork City Council for joining us and the young people at that event.
Yeah, it was truly remarkable, the energy that was in the virtual room nonetheless. You know, it's virtual, and it was the energy that was there and the spirit of everyone. It was just mind-blowing. It was so great. So hopefully we can do that in person as well next year. And actually, we have to postpone 2 events on Friday, but because we live in very challenging and crazy times. But we will have those 2 events. One was Fred Douglass on Shakespeare and the Washington Theatre. The other one was an advocacy through music workshop with Donald Kearney. He is a member of the band True, and he's also the co-founder of the Irish Institute of Music and Song in Balbriggan in Ireland. We're just postponing them, though. We haven't canceled them, and we'll keep you posted on social media and our newsletter when they will take place. And I would say now is a good time to hear from one of our friends, Mayor Malik Evans, the mayor of Rochester in New York in the US, who also joined us for a great conversation, but he also sent us a wonderful video message. So I would say over to Mayor Malik Evans.
Greetings. And thank you to the Frederick Douglass Family Initiative for asking me to be a part of Frederick Douglass Week. As the mayor of Rochester, New York, I can tell you that the people of this city are extremely proud of our connection to Frederick Douglass, who lived here for 25 years and is buried in Rochester's Mount Hope Cemetery. As a child, I attended Rochester School Number 12, which is located on the site of a home where Frederick Douglass and his wife, Anna Murray Douglass, once lived. The Douglass story was often incorporated into our lessons. In fact, the school was recently renamed the Anna Murray Douglass Academy. Douglass chose Rochester as his base of operations because he saw it as the perfect place to broadcast his message of freedom and justice across the world. And now we see that it is as true today as it was when he lived here. Rochester is still the perfect place to elevate the message of freedom and justice. And that's because our citizens have never forgotten the legacy of Frederick Douglass in Rochester. Our children grow up with a deep sense of pride in that legacy, and they pass it on to their children generation after generation. And that is no accident. The legacy of Douglass is being kept alive today through the work of groups like the Frederick Douglass Family Initiative. One way they are doing that is with a pen pal program with the students at Anna Murray Douglass Academy and students in Waterford Island, Rochester's sister city, and the place where Douglass visited and spoke on his travels to Europe. This is a wonderful opportunity for children in both cities. Not only does it reinforce the sister city relationship between Waterford and Ireland, but it will give future generations in both countries a chance to learn more about Douglass and his message of freedom and justice. I have no doubt they will discover that this message is as relevant today as it was when Douglass was alive, in both countries and across the entire world. So to everyone who has done so much to keep the spirit of Frederick Douglass alive, I say thank you. The entire world owes you a debt of gratitude because the world still needs the wisdom of Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Mayor Evans. Sorry, Caroline. I wanted to get on to day 3. We're really, but first, we're really excited about the involvement of Mayor Evans and others in Rochester and Douglass Week this year, and we're really looking forward to continuing that work together. He's been a great partner. Mayor Evans has been a great partner thus far, and he mentioned the Pen Pal program, which is his collaboration and his brainchild for connecting students in Rochester with students in Ireland and elsewhere. So we're really happy to be the facilitator of that or work with them to make that happen. So more to come there, as with many of our other partners. And I'll say for day 3, see the graphic for day 3, we kicked off early in the morning with a walking tour, again from our friend and collaborator, John Muller, local DC historian here, which was well attended. And there was another in-person event that was held around the world that Caroline, I think, wants to talk a little bit about.
Yes, absolutely, because I was so stoked about it. I took part in it myself. I absolutely loved it. It was called In His Footsteps, and it was the Frederick Douglass Memorial World Run. As a 5K run organized by the Sanctuary Runners in Ireland and across the world. And you need to go and check out on any kind of social media channel, go check out the hashtag DW2020 run. Look at the pictures. They will warm your heart. Just absolutely fantastic event. Happened across the world all day. All these pictures were coming in, people walking, running, jogging, 5K in honor of Frederick Douglass and to support sanctuary runners and migrants, refugees, asylum seekers around the world. And a special shout out to the sanctuary runners and especially Graham, who helped push and pull and organize all of this and brought it all together and made it all happen. So that was absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to do more. We have great plans with Graham. We did the Run Through Africa last year for Douglass Week 2021. This year we did the In His Footsteps Memorial World Run. And who knows what we're coming up with for next year, right, Kristen?
Yeah, that's right. Who knows? I will say, yes, the pictures from the run this year, just phenomenal. And I was unhappy that I wasn't able to participate myself, but really happy to see some running groups in Washington participate and share pictures from Capitol Hill in particular, not far from the first home that Frederick and Anna Murray Douglass lived in here in DC. So please do go on social media and check those out. It's really, really inspirational to see people coming together that way. And on day 3 for our programming online, we started with a wonderful, far-ranging conversation on reclaiming space and redefining Blackness. And I think, Caroline, you can speak a little bit more to that about the participants there.
Yeah, again, there was so much great energy, so much positive energy. Again, younger researchers, activists from around Ireland, around the world, really talking about their experience, for example, in Ireland, being Black and Irish, having dual identities, and how they are reclaiming space for themselves, how they're creating projects if they don't see themselves in the society around them, and what they've been doing. They've been doing so many creative projects. Again, there was so much passion, so much great inspiration in that virtual room and a wonderful conversation. So also encourage you to check that out. And thank you especially to Sandrine Zahiro at University of Limerick, who has been, I think, in most of our Douglass, like once a day, I think she was in one of our events for Douglass Week. She is a fantastic researcher doing a PhD at University of Limerick. And you'll definitely see and hear more of her for future Douglass Week events, I would say. What else? I think there was 2 or 3 more, right? 2 more, I think.
2 more, I think. Yes, and I'll just echo your thanks to Sandrine, especially for all she does and all the time that she's devoted to Douglass Week. We really appreciate her involvement. And yes, also on day 3, we hosted our first in-person event. Besides the walking tours, here in DC, the kickoff inaugural event of our Douglass Dialogue series, which we're really excited about, an opportunity to connect with change makers during Douglass Week and beyond, in more intimate conversations. And we had probably the best 2 conversationalists we could think of as our inaugural panelists for our first Douglass Dialogue, in Kenneth B. Morris Jr., who you just heard from, the great-great-great-grandson of Frederick Douglass, and Professor Celeste Marie Bernier, who is at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland and the world's foremost researcher and scholar on the Douglass family. And day one of Douglass Dialogues of their two-part series between the two of them focused on the women of the Douglass family and their influence on and activism. And it was a really fascinating conversation about Anna Murray Douglass, Rosetta Douglass Sprague, and Annie Douglass, and the way they continued and added to their father's work. They're lesser known figures, but nowhere near less important. And so that was a really moving and emotional conversation between Ken and Celeste.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always so beautiful to see the two in conversation. Also to see how much Ken is just like always so amazed about the things that he learns still about his own family. And Celeste and Ken are just wonderful conversation partners. So thank you again to the two of them. The last event on the third day was our Curating Public Spaces with our wonderful friend and Douglass Week co-founder and member and doing everything to make this event series happen. Dr. Adrian Mulligan at Bucknell University. We'll hear from Adrian in a minute as well, because he'll be joining us live. But he hosted the Curating Public Spaces panel. This was kind of a roundtable discussion, I would say. And we talked with really great people from the International African American Museum, which will be open the end of the year in Charleston. And we talked about public space, engagement with public spaces, kind of critical histories. We talked about, what does it mean to curate spaces? What is space? What is what do museums do? What is the role of curator? And how do we handle troubling pasts? So yeah, that was fantastic. And maybe Adrian will say a few words about it later when we call on him. But for now, I would say we watched another video from one of our friends at Howard University, President Frederick. Thank you, President Frederick, for your words.
Greetings. I'm Wayne Frederick, President of Howard University. On behalf of the entire Howard community, I'd like to welcome you to Douglass Week 2022. We appreciate your interest in commemorating and honoring the life of Frederick Douglass, one of the most influential Americans in the history of our nation. The life and legacy of Frederick Douglass are intertwined with the history and future of Howard University. Howard is one of 101 historically Black colleges and universities in America. Our institution was founded in 1867 by a federal charter with the mission to educate freed slaves moving from the South to the North and empower Black people with knowledge and skills to participate more fully in American society and in our national economy. From our very beginning, we have been a fully fledged university dedicated to providing a holistic, multidisciplinary education. Today, we have 14 schools and colleges on our campus, and we serve more than 12,000 students. Our alumni are spreading truth and providing service in all industries across the globe, even from within the White House. In the spirit of Frederick Douglass, we ensure that our students develop skills and accrue knowledge for a purpose. Howard has a deep connection to Frederick Douglass and the Douglass family. Frederick Douglass served as a trustee at Howard beginning in 1871 until his death in 1895. While he was traveling the country advocating for the rights of freed slaves and equality for Black Americans, he was serving Howard University as a member of this board of trustees. Indeed, his service to Howard and his mission in life were interwoven. Frederick Douglass knew that supporting Howard was a crucial aspect of his grander purpose and ultimate ambitions. Just as education for him personally was the ticket to his freedom and power, so too would education be the vehicle for all Black Americans to attain the standing in society they deserved. Frederick Douglass was instrumental in establishing our university and empowering it to lead the caravan of social justice that it is today. What Howard has achieved to this day and what we will continue to achieve in the future certainly is in part thanks to this vision of Frederick Douglass. With buildings like Frederick Douglass Memorial Hall at the center of our campus and through our Frederick Douglass Scholars for our doctoral fellowship program, we continue to honor his legacy here at the university. So it is an honor to participate in Douglass Week once again, and we hope you can visit Howard University soon to witness Frederick Douglass's vision for the Black community and for America as that continues to bear fruit.
Thank you so much, President Frederick. Thank you so much for your warm words and for being part of Douglass Week. We very much look forward to all the future collaborations between Douglass Week and Howard University. We can't wait to do more and to collaborate more with you all at Howard University. And we do indeed hope that we can come and visit Howard University very, very soon. So thank you for joining us via the video message today. So day 4, we've almost arrived at today, almost. This was day 4, so Sunday. Started off with a really great event. We were hoping that Lawrence could join us tonight. Unfortunately, he couldn't, but you will get a chance to see him if you are in Cork. The chances are very high you get to see him. Dr. Lawrence Benton is the author of Frederick Douglass in Ireland, a really great book worth checking out. And he did a walking tour, which it was sold out, and it was the walking tour of the Cork Abolitionist Trail that we actually launched last July in 2021. And Lawrence did the first official walking tour, guided walking tour through Cork City. And it was absolutely brilliant, wonderful pictures, a really great tour. And actually that kind of segued really nicely, kind of staying in Cork to another in-person event, which was hosted by Nano Nago Place and Cork Migrant Centre. It was called Creativity Speaks. And it was an amazing showcasing event of all the youth and the members of the Cork migrant community who have been so inspired by Frederick Douglass, and some of them have been part of Douglass Week for the last year and a half. And they've been so inspired by Douglass and his work, his life, that they actually now had this event on Sunday in person with great participation. And they were showcasing all the events that they did, lots of videos and performances, live spoken word, lots of songs and beautiful art. And we're also really happy to say that we were able to showcase some of the art that had been done at the Anna Murray Douglass Academy in Rochester, New York. And we were able to exhibit and showcase some of the artwork that had been done by some of the really young, talented artists there. And it was really great to see this transatlantic connection there again. So that is how we started day 4, Sunday, with a really great kickoff. What did we do then, Chris? And what were we doing in DC?
Well, some people in DC were on another walking tour with local historian John Muller. And I know that was really well attended as well. And we're looking forward to more of those with John in the future. We also hosted the second of our Douglass Dialogues, which was a conversation between our friend and colleague, Dr. Adrian Mulligan, and Elizabeth Muir from Anti-Slavery International about anti-human trafficking efforts around the world. And that was also a fascinating conversation. And we encourage people to check that out on our YouTube channel as well, and our recordings.
Yeah, and I was actually so fortunate to be part of that panel as well, and it was really great to talk.
I'm sorry, you were also a part of that panel.
No, I'm just mentioning it because it was such, we talk a lot about historical slavery, especially in the context of Douglass Week and Frederick Douglass, because he was enslaved himself and he escaped this enslavement. But we also, it's one of the really, really important things, a part of this conversation that we're all having and should have is, the modern day slavery and the modern day kind of anti-slavery movement. And there's quite a few of them. And we're really lucky to have Anti-Slavery International and Lizzie Muir with us. And it was a really great conversation. It's live on YouTube, it's now recorded on YouTube, so you can go check it out. The final event, we've already mentioned it, Ken has mentioned it, Kristen has mentioned it, that was the next Douglass Dialogue event. And just a note, there will be more Douglass Dialogue events throughout the year. But this one on Sunday was, I would say was epic. It was really great. Another conversation between Ken and Celeste. And this time they were talking about some of the other very remarkable and revolutionary men in the Douglass family. So we talked about some of the sons of Douglass. And I won't spoil too much because I want you to go and check out this wonderful conversation. Kristen was so lucky to be there in person, and some of other of our team members watched live on YouTube. So that was really great. What else, Kristen? We're almost to the next day, but what else?
We're almost there. Just on the third Douglass dialogue, the second between Ken and Celeste. Yes, it was again another far-ranging, fascinating conversation, and really emotional and personal, which we're really happy to be able to host here at Douglass Week between two great people and great friends. And speaking of great people and great friends, we had to postpone an event that was scheduled for day 4, another Douglass dialogue on women writing with the Fulbright scholar, Dr. Emma Penny. And please stay tuned on our website and elsewhere. We'll be posting information about when we'll reschedule that event and that recording and post it.
Yeah, and I think this is now a good time to talk to our friend Adrian. Adrian, if you're there, please join us, because what I've pulled up here is a map of the Cork Abolitionists Trail in Cork City. And Adrian, I would love some of the insights, because I know you have been working tirelessly with Lawrence and our entire team, with the support of Cork City Council, the Imperial Hotel in Cork, and so many others. And I was wondering, Adrian, if you could come on screen, and if you would want to talk a little bit about the walking tour or the trail where we're at. And maybe Adrian, if you can join us on screen.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Adrian.
Hello.
Hi, Adrian.
Over to you, Adrian. Tell us, what are we seeing here? What are we doing? What is this? What is this crazy map?
So this map is our Cork Abolitionists Trail. This is our first iteration of the trail. So basically, I mean, Lawrence Fenton and I know lots of information about where Douglass spoke while he was in Cork. There's still a lot of detective work that we still have to do. Many of these locations we don't know, they're not marked. There's no plaques on them. In some places, Imperial Hotel, there's some great work's been done. But in other places, there's not much acknowledgement, and we don't know that much about it. So basically, we're trying to sort of, engage with this really powerful history of anti-racism in Cork. It's really important precedent as we consider sort of modern attempts to forge sort of more multicultural society and for us all to get along with each other. And for this to not just be sort of an abstract history or a dead history, but there's still buildings, there's still streets, many of these places are still in existence. And also what we're trying to do as well is to connect this history with folks like our partners like Nanonego Place and Cork Migrant Centre, so that it's a living history, and that it's connecting to stuff that we're doing today and important issues today, and that we involve the community, both private and public sector and the city, in this wonderful project that we're trying to do. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you for that, for giving us a quick look at where we're at. And I would say, folks, stay tuned and check out. You can look at our website. We have a bit of information up there. We're constantly developing it with the great people of Cork and from around the world. And fantastic project that's happening there. If you want to join us, let us know. And it's going to be amazing. So thank you, Adrian, for that. Kristen, is there a speaker that would fit that we could hear from now?
I think there is. They are a great friend of Douglass Week and a continuing collaborator on the Cork Trail and other projects. Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Colm Kelleher, sent some words of welcome as well, which we'd like to play for you now.
Hello, my name is Councillor Colm Kelleher and I'm the Lord Mayor of Cork. I'm delighted to welcome you all to Cork City, Ireland today, albeit virtually, where Frederick Douglass, amongst many other black abolitionists, travelled to find refuge and build support for the anti-slavery cause in America. I I'm equally delighted to say that I, alongside of some of my Cork City colleagues, will participate in Frederick Douglass Week in Washington DC and Capitol Hill walking tour with local historian John Muller next month when I visit the United States. I'm joining you today from the Chamber in Cork City Hall. Cork, the surrounding areas, played an important role during Frederick Douglass's visit to Ireland between 1845 and 1846. We are proud to know that Douglass very much enjoyed his stay in Cork and formed friendships here that would last the rest of his long and illustrious life. I'm happy to note that in 2012 we placed a plaque to Douglass here in Cork at the Imperial Hotel, where Douglass spoke on at least one occasion to mark the support he found from the Cork anti-slavery societies, including his strong supporters and friends in the Cork Ladies Anti-Slavery Society. In 21, the people of Cork contributed greatly to the inaugural hashtag Douglass Week, in which many events, workshops and projects took place across our beautiful city. This year, Cork will be contributing to the event series again in virtual and also in-person events. I'm very happy to be a part of the second hashtag Douglass Week and all the activities. I look forward to turning it into many events happening between the 10th and the 15th of February. The week will include a variety of engaging discussions called Douglass Dialogues, a star-studded Valentine's birthday celebration at Arena Stage in Washington DC, a special walking tour of the Cork Abolitionist Trail, tracing Douglass's footsteps in Cork, a social media photo competition, a 5K fun run, and the continuation of the successful I Am Remarkable project featuring local Cork youth leaders from the Cork Migrant Centre at Nanonagle Place. I'm inspired by the warm welcome Douglass received here in Cork, and I hope that his story is inspiring to you and other hashtag Douglass Week attendees as well. Ireland, Cork and America were closely connected in the 19th century and of course interconnected today in many different ways, and indeed share both challenges and opportunities around issues like inclusion, race and acceptance that have become much a part of dialogue in Cork and Ireland today. We are delighted that hashtag Douglass Week helps continue the connection between our two countries and vibrant cities of Cork and Washington DC. In bidding farewell to the people of Cork on the 3rd of November 1845, Douglass not only thanked them for the hospitality, but also praised the city's journalist, who duly reported that by the means of the press his words would be borne across the Atlantic and startled the slaveholders in their cruelty and wickedness, as reported by the Southern Reporter in 1845. On that note, thank you to the hashtag Douglass Week team for all their work, and thank you for joining me for a brief visit to the Lord Mayor's Chamber in City Hall, Cork, and your support of Douglass Week.
Yeah, thank you, Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Colm Kelleher. I'm a great fan of his. He's a great fan of ours. We got a chance to meet him in July, and he was there for the launch of the trail that Adrian just talked about. We planted a tree together at Nanonagle Place in Cork. It was absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to more. But for now, thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Councillor Colm Kelleher, the Lord Mayor of Cork. And now we've arrived at day 5, which was yesterday. It's really hard to believe that that was yesterday. Sometimes I don't know how this many events fit into one day. But yesterday we had so many reasons to celebrate. It was Valentine's Day. It was Douglass Day, which is also celebrated around the world with a big transcribe-a-thon around the world, many participants. But it was also Douglass's chosen birthday. So we had lots of reasons to celebrate. We kicked things off with a great event on Fred Douglass and the Black Press, because he was a great writer, as we know, but he was very active in terms of publishing and did a lot of his activism through the written word. And we heard from our friend John Muller again, who did a great talk about that. What else did we do? That event was actually followed by a fantastic world-class expert panel called The Power of the Visual, and that focused on something that a lot of people don't know, again, is this panel focused on Frederick Douglass's love, passion, but also his, the importance of photography to him. So we looked at Fred Douglass's use of photography, of visual art, and how important this medium was for him and how he used it throughout his life. And we had great speakers from Harvard University, Professor John Stauffer. We had Celeste join us again. And we also had Professor Maurice Wallace from Rutgers University, and it was absolutely fantastic. So that's how we kicked things off. Where did we go from there, Kristen?
Well, we went back to Washington, D.C. and Arena Stage for what can only be described as a star-studded birthday celebration and commemoration of the Douglass family in D.C. and really around the world. And it was a fantastic theatrical event with Broadway stars Crystalline Lloyd, Charles Randolph Wright, Marcus Hummin, Paul Oakley Stovall, our great friend, Nikhil Sabu, another great friend of Douglass Week, and speakers, Eleanor Holmes Norton, Ambassador Dan Mulhall, the Ambassador of Ireland to the United States, and of course, the Douglass family. Ken Morris once again joined us and really served as MC for the night. And we were really particularly fortunate and grateful that his mother, Nettie Washington Douglass, was able to join us for the event as well, along with many members of the Douglass family from in and around the Washington, D.C. area. We're particularly grateful for their presence as well. The bookends and sort of the main thread of the night in D.C. at this birthday commemoration and celebration was our another great friend of Douglass Week from 2021 and continuing here in 2022, the incomparable actor Roger Glenvere Smith, who performs segments of his one-man play called Frederick Douglass Now. That as someone who is in the house, I think it's fair to say, brought down the house each time he came out as Frederick Douglass and performed. And it was a remarkable thing to see in person. I hope that those of you who joined us via our YouTube live stream were able to feel some of that energy. And we'll have more video of that event up as well, where hopefully you'll be able to see some of the power of not only Roger's performance but others. And I mentioned the as Broadway stars Charles Randolph Wright and Marcus Hummin and Crystalline Lloyd. They were there also as part of a preview to the upcoming musical, which will premiere at Arena Stage this summer in July. Called American Prophet, Frederick Douglass in His Own Words, taking Frederick Douglass's words, setting them to music and telling the story of Frederick Douglass, and in particular, the story of Frederick Douglass and Anna Murray Douglass. And Crystalline Lloyd was with us last night to sing a song or two from the upcoming musical. And we were, I think it's safe to say that there are some more interest in the American Prophet musical generated from the performances and the absolute power of the night last night.
Yeah, an absolutely powerful event, absolutely mind-blowing, so beautiful. We have the live stream recording, but we will also, like Kristen said, have a professionally done video. So we'll put that up as soon as we have it, and you will get to enjoy some of that energy that was in that room last night. So a really good way of celebrating Frederick Douglass's chosen birthday and all the other good things that happened yesterday. To wrap things up for day 5, and then we arrive at today. Yesterday, we released a couple of videos. You can check them out of a conversation of the 3 mayors, Lord Mayor of Cork, the Mayor of Waterford, Joe Kelly, and Mayor Evans and Rochester. And they had a beautiful conversation, really encouraged you, very heartwarming, really great to see the 3 of them connect. Wonderful conversation, great gentlemen. And so that was one of them. We also had a Frederick Douglass pop-up virtual exhibition, a video put together by Barrettstown Children's Charity Ireland and the Southbridge Community School in Kildare in Ireland. And we also had a two-part event, actually, which is one of my passion projects. One that is, my research area is, it's called The Transformative Power of Afrofuturism. And I had the great honor to speak with our lovely Sandrine Dahiro again, and scholars from Northern Ireland, from the US, and other places. And we discussed, the developments of Afrofuturism and how, what it does for us, where it takes us, where is it applicable, what allows it, what does it allow us to do, how does it help us create space and spaces, how does it help disrupt the narrative. And it was absolutely two phenomenal conversations. So again, that's on our YouTube channel. And I think speaking about, Cork and speaking about Washington, I think talking about these creative performances, I think this is a good time now to go over to our friend Griff Rollason, Professor Griff Rollason. Griff is a professor of music at the University College of Cork, and he's been heavily involved in all the things that we're doing with our music strand. We have these 6 strands that we started last year. One of them is the music strand, and Griff has been very much involved in lots of the events and lots of the projects that we're doing in this strand, and he'll talk about this a little bit more in his video message. Thank you, Griff.
And before that video is queued up, sorry, thank you. I neglected, I think, because in my rundown of performers and readers in the birthday celebration last night at Arena Stage, I think I may have neglected to mention the most brilliant shining star of them all, who is the person of Professor Celeste Marie Bernier, who also did a wonderful reading about Anna Marie Douglass. And again, I may or may not have mentioned her earlier, but I wanted to make sure to mention her now. She is a phenomenal friend of this program, and was a phenomenal addition to the program last night, and has been collaborating with Charles Randolph Wright, the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives, and the Douglass family for a number of years as well. And we're grateful and honored that she's a collaborator of ours too. So Celeste, thank you. And over to Griff.
Greetings from University College Cork, National University of Ireland. I'm Griff Rollason, Professor of Music and collaborator with the Douglass Week team. So first, a big thanks to the organizing team for this exciting week of events, and a special thanks to our collaborators on the Frederick Douglass Music Project. Look for announcements about those amazing new songs commemorating Frederick Douglass over the coming weeks. University College Cork is the first Irish institution of higher education to join the International Research Consortium, Universities Studying Slavery. As many of you know, over the past decade, universities in the US have begun investigating the historical role of slavery and imperialism at their institutions. Founded by the University of Virginia President's Commission on Slavery in the University, USS, quote, allows participating institutions to work together as they address both historical and contemporary issues dealing with race and inequality in higher education. Douglass Week is an important part of this international collaborative initiative. As the first Irish university and the third European university to join USS, University College Cork hopes to add Ireland's decolonization expertise to USS theory and methods. UCC hopes to leverage this experience to push for the further internationalization of USS with the express purpose of promoting the decolonization of higher education across Europe. It also hopes to leverage its anti-colonial networks to get African, Asian, and South American universities involved in USS. As our former president, Patrick O'Shea, wrote in announcing UCC's membership in USS, quote, I believe it is entirely appropriate that University College Cork joins this exciting initiative. UCC was founded in 1845 and built from 1846 to 49 during the height of the Irish famine, and on the heels of the historic 6-week visit of esteemed abolitionist Frederick Douglass to Cork in the fall of 1845. We look forward to participating in the international discussion regarding slavery, colonization, post-colonial politics, and issues regarding race inequality in higher education. Indeed, UCC is a pioneer in decolonization, with a rich history and deep archive that we as an institution are excited to share and leverage in the service of the core mission of USS, close quote. University College Cork looks forward to further developing its transatlantic partnerships with USS institutions and examining the inescapable network of mutuality that animates global histories of slavery and imperialism, of emancipation and decolonization. UCC is proud to support Douglass Week and the broader USS mission in Ireland and across Europe, working together on issues of decolonization, reparation, reconciliation, in collaboration with the USS institutions as part of this important and long overdue initiative. Thanks, and happy Douglass Week. Let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work, Griff. Lots going on with the USS at UCC and around the world. We were very much looking forward to some of the events and collaborations there in the future. So thank you, Griff. Thank you also for mentioning the music. That was another ongoing legacy project that I mentioned earlier. You'll find out more about that too very soon on our website and social media. But Kristen, I can't believe it. We have arrived at today, day 6. Truly hard to believe that we've come to the end of Douglass Week 2022, that we have come almost to the end of this event as well. We're almost done with our wrap up, and we just have a few more events to mention that happened today and a little bit of a couple of announcements to make, exciting announcements. And yeah, we've reached the final day. Today was just as invigorating and energizing and rewarding as all the other days. We actually got to start things off with the Frederick Douglass Ireland curriculum workshop, which was really, really great. We had several educators from around the world join us, and our lovely Adrian, from whom we just heard, he was also there. He joined our conversation, and we talked about ways to kind of grow the Douglass Week community, especially in the context of education, because that's another legacy project that we're working on, to bring international educators together and to create a curriculum that is different, that is creative, that is inspired by Douglass and by other change makers, and that that way can bring the stories of Douglass and Douglass in Ireland specifically to Irish student audiences and in new ways. So we had a really fantastic conversation. We're establishing a working group, and we have met many new friends today, I'm happy to say, and it was a complete success. So that's how we started day 6. Where do we go from there, Kristen?
We continued with some old and new friends at the Harvard clubs. Our old friends at the Harvard Club of Ireland, and joined by new friends at the Harvard Club of Boston and the Harvard Club of Washington, D.C. for a program in their own allyship series, a Harvard Alumni Club's programming, year-long programming. They decided to host as part of Douglass Week, and we're grateful to them for that. That program was chaired and hosted by by Professor William G. Thomas, the University of Nebraska, talking about his work. The event was titled "When the Enslaved Sued for Freedom." And it was also part of the Harvard Alumni Club's anti-racism initiatives, which is the host of those allyship events.
Yeah, it was really, really great. And there will be a recording of that as well. So keep an eye out for that. Really great folks there at the Harvard Alumni Club. And especially the allyship event, really, really worth tuning in. So if you see that pop up anywhere, go check them out. We also had a wonderful final virtual roundtable too, actually. I'll talk about the first one. Maybe, Kristen, you can talk about the second one, which you just finished. And Adrian was also there. But the first one, which happened earlier this afternoon, was called Publishing and Activism, and it was actually hosted and facilitated by our good friend and Douglass Week colleague, Dr. Tim Groenland at University of Limerick. And him and the panel, they highlighted the work of small Irish publishers, initiatives that focus on social justice. And we featured a couple of different publishers like Unapologetic Magazine, Skein Press, Working Class Writing Archive. Really cool conversation, again, about about creating spaces and focusing on marginalized communities and writers and showcasing that work. So really, really worth checking out. And before you maybe say something, Kristen, about the event that we just finished before we came to this event, I just wanted to mention also that we've also dropped a couple of other videos from friends and other Douglass Week friends and collaborators. So keep an eye out for that on our website, but also on our YouTube channel, because there's loads more that we haven't even had the time to post about all of them, but we'll keep you updated, and we'll also send out a couple more newsletters. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter yet, that's a really good way to stay in touch and also to find out about, all the postponed events, but also the new events that are coming up. Like Kristen said earlier, there will be new Douglass Dialogue events. So check out the newsletter, because there will be more information coming your way. And that's also a great way to find out about all the other videos that we've dropped throughout the week and also today. And now over to you, Kristen, for our very last event, which we hosted earlier with our wonderful Adrian.
We did, and Adrian Mulligan, again, served as a facilitator for this event. This time, I think it actually is a wonderful bookmark or bookend to Douglass Week's 2021 and 2022. We ended Douglass Week 2021 with an event called Our Strong Women, featuring women leaders from around the world talking about leadership. And this event was on equity, equality, and representation in sports. And our panelists were all strong women themselves. Chanel Mosley, who works with DC United, is the director of DC United in the community. DC United is the men's professional soccer team here our football team here in Washington, with Patty Gunn, who is the executive director of the Belfast Beltway Boxing Project, working with youth boxers in both of those places, and Charity Blackwell, who is a poet herself and a creative director and cultural director for DC Scores, which is a long-standing charitable organization in DC, working with poet athletes, giving them after-school opportunities in both poetry and in soccer in DC. And I think it's safe to say that conversation is worth checking out as well. And Adrian brought up some great issues of representation, the importance of outreach to youth in the community and giving them a safe place to express themselves through writing in the case of the programs at DC Scores, but also through athletics. And certainly that's something that Frederick Douglass himself and the Douglass family have a very strong connection to, as we learned from our friend John Muller, DC historian, earlier in the week as well. So actually it was a bookend to last year's Douglass Week and the beginning of this year's Douglass Week, to end with such a strong and interesting and energetic panel of participants.
Yeah, and I'd say from one panel of very wonderful and inspiring women, I would say we now hand over to Erica Mock, our next video message. We've talked about Erica earlier of the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives, and we'll hand over to Erica now for her video message.
Hello, my name is Erica Mock. I'm the Executive Director of the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives. I am so fortunate to have been able to participate over the last week in Douglass Week events here in DC. The content and the participants have been extraordinary. We've been able to partner out of our Rochester, New York-based organization with our colleagues at Douglass Week, and we look so forward to many more things to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. And that was almost our last video, but that most certainly concludes our recap of the entire week. What a week it's been. And then there's just a few things that we want to share with you now. One is the announcement of the poetry competition, the Douglass Week Poetry Competition winner. We also want to talk just a little bit about what's next. And then we want to talk to you about the Globe Lane Initiative, which is something that you'll hear about in a minute. And then we are ready to wrap up. We've just hit the 1 hour mark. So thank you for bearing with us. And yeah, Kristen, the poetry competition, we did that last year. It was really fantastic, very inspiring. The contributions were amazing. Again, this year, great number of submissions. It was very hard for our jurors. I remember having a conversation how hard it was to pick winners for this competition. Again, a really great work. The theme this year was intergenerational conversations, and yeah, generally we are now calling our competition "Hope in Words," which is based on a Douglass quote, and you can find out more on our website. But yeah, next year we'll make some changes to that competition, and we're partnering up with a few new friends that we've made throughout Douglass Week this year. And yeah, lots more to come. But Kristen, what else?
I'll just mention we want to thank once again our sponsor for the poetry competition, the Irish Association of American Studies, and our great friends and collaborators there. We're really excited to, as Caroline just mentioned, continue the competition next year, and revise and expand the reach. So we're looking forward to doing that with them. Again, we thank them for their support this year as well.
Yeah, and before we now hear from the winner and we hear the winning poem read out, it's also very important to us to mention some of the runners up, but I'll first announce the winners. Congratulations to Deirdre O'Connor. She's the winner with her poem "Neither Immigrant Nor Emigrant," and we'll hear Deirdre perform her poem in a second. But Kristen, I would like to take a second or more actually to acknowledge the runners up. Maybe you want to announce those.
I am going to announce them. I'm going to read their names and their poem names so I don't get them incorrect. Our excellent runners-up are Jennifer Redmonds, Solid Gone, Parwana Amiri with the poem, Jennifer, Parmara Amiri, and I apologize if if I'm mispronouncing anybody's name, with the poem "This Never-Ending Struggle." Congratulations, Parwana, sorry. And last but not least, Aran Ashuri with the poem called "Can You Borrow Me Your Home?" And again, I apologize for anyone's name I may have mispronounced, but congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll be in touch and we'll send you some wonderful prizes. And you can look forward to those. And thank you all for your participation. Beautiful work. Everyone's submissions were very, very, very inspiring. But these couple of poems specifically inspired and really impressed our jury. So congratulations. And I now hand over to Deirdre reading her poem. Thank you.
Neither emigrant nor immigrant. My grandfather walks a field in Urid. The faintest rain glitters in the sun. I have no idea what he thinks walking amid the stones, a fine rain settling into the weave of his coat, his hands fists in his pockets, his hands loose at ease. I don't know loved or unloved, don't know hungry, fed. How often the bright air of such a day might shunt another thought aside, how rare it might become to think of it, or rare perhaps to notice thinking of it. I frame him in the camera of my phone, plant him in the middle of the field, all the fields. He's gone, he's here, alone among the others. Thank you.
Thank you, Deirdre, for this beautiful poem, very fitting intergenerational conversations. So thank you so much. And just a quick note before we get to what's next, the poetry panel that was organized by Fulbright, our friends at Fulbright, the Fulbright Commission Ireland, actually had to be postponed because of unforeseen circumstances, but it's postponed, and we will hear more from a variety of poets who have engaged with Douglass, who have been inspired by Douglass and other change makers. So we'll see them, and we'll also see Deirdre again very soon. And now, Kristen, I would say, what's next?
What is next? Douglass Week 2023 is what's next. It's very quizzical, Frederick Douglass there. Colorful and quizzical. We are currently in conversations about Douglass Week 2023. We have made one decision, and that is to, on location at least, and that is to remain in the United States for Douglass Week 2023. There are a lot of people and places to explore here that are important to Frederick Douglass and the Douglass family story. I think we have, technical difficulties on my part. In addition to other thoughts, the technical difficulties, we have whittled it down to 3 places we're considering for Douglass Week next year, and those are Rochester, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, and New York, New York. And stay tuned. I feel like I told Caroline earlier, I feel like this is an Olympics location announcement kind of thing. But stay tuned, our version of it. Stay tuned for information about which city we choose and where we will go next. But we will really look forward to hosting Douglass Week 2023 in one of those places.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good time to also maybe just a quick side note, but like we are traveling with Douglass Week. We will travel to all the different countries that are connected with Frederick Douglass, or that he has traveled to himself. I mean, he traveled so much around the world, to Italy, to Germany, to Canada, to Scotland, to like Haiti, to Egypt. And we will go to all of those places in the next few years. Yeah, very excited about 2023. We always say after Douglass Week is before Douglass Week. So we'll start having all the conversations very soon. Also, what's coming later this year, as we mentioned, there are a few events that we had to postpone. Some of them are the Douglass Dialogue events. Some of them are events that haven't taken place yet because we haven't put them together yet, but we are planning them. And one of the ones is the one that Griff mentioned, that we've mentioned throughout. One of the big events is a music event. So keep an ear and an eye out for that, but also more about what Adrian talked about earlier, the abolitionist the abolitionist trail in Cork, and also the educational curriculum that I mentioned earlier. So those are some of the big things also coming up and being continued this year. And I guess it's a really good segue, Kristen, to talk about the Globe Lane initiative, I would say.
I'm glad that you were the first person to say that name, because it's really a brainchild of yours. And we have this lovely picture of the site of the former Globe Lane in Cork, in Ireland, which was, as we understand it, and as our research recommends, was the site of the first place Frederick Douglass spoke in Cork, in Ireland, during his visit there in 1845. And we're really excited to choose the name Globe Lane to honor our roots in Cork, our roots which will always be in Cork. I think it's very fitting and striking to us that the name of the place was Globe Lane, just because of all that those words connote and call to mind. So we're really excited that we've formed the Globe Lane Initiative with a lot of our partners from Douglass Week last year and this year.
Yeah, I think it's a guiding concept or principle of Douglass Week and also Globe Lane. The think globally, act locally, and globally as well. But thinking globally, having this globe the global idea, but also the lane, the local, the regional, the specific, and it's only fitting that it's in Cork and that it's anchored in Cork, because that's where we started. So yeah, the Globe Lane Initiative, we became a DC nonprofit, as Kristen said, last year. But Kristen, also, what else did we do with the Globe Lane Initiative?
We're not only a DC nonprofit, we are becoming a federal nonprofit as well, which gives us a lot of additional privileges and opportunities. So we're excited to announce that today as well, and more to come on that.
Yes, lots more to come. And I think that's a really good time to wrap up. I'd love if we can perhaps have our wonderful colleague, Adrian, back on screen as well. Just a few last words of thank yous and goodbyes, and a couple of calls to action, really, because as we've mentioned, it's really important to us that we can stay in touch with you. Are you interested at this point? Are you interested now, after you've heard us, and talk about this amazing event series and all the people that are involved? If you want to join us, get in touch. You can reach us at info@douglasweek.org, or you can go to our website, www.douglasweek.org, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit our website, follow us on social media, and follow us as we plan for 2023. But all of that aside, I just want to say thank you and thank you is not enough. There are no words, but thank you is as close as it gets, to say thank you to my absolutely excellent, outstanding, and wonderful, kind, and giving team. And I want to just say 2 words, maybe 3, about everyone. I'll start with Sarah McCready, who is behind the scenes and who is a big part and a co-founder of Douglas Week. Sarah, we love you, and this could not happen without you. Thank you for all of your support, especially in terms of tech this week. So thank you so much for that, and for your inspiration and being the supporter and the wonderful human being that you are. So thank you for that. We love you. On the note of tech, also thank you to Gavin and Emma, who have been our virtual hosting managers, without whom we also could not have done this. So thank you to them as well. Thank you also to Lawrence Fenton, who was a big part of all the things happening in Cork. Really, really fantastic research, and he's such an amazing man. I hope you get to meet him. Thank you also to our wonderful friend here on screen, Dr. Adrian Mulligan. Thank you, Adrian, for everything that you've done. Every conversation that we have, every chat, every Zoom, every email is always like, I feel like I'm, in the middle of history, in the middle of, we're on this bridge together between past and present, and you and Lawrence and all the others make Frederick Douglass come alive, and you keep inspiring us every day. So thank you for all of your work. You are an inspiration. Thank you also to our wonderful friends, Paul and Nikhil, and all the other beautiful and amazing, outstanding people who have contributed in their own ways to Douglas Week. But speaking of inspiration, Kristen, I'm not going to make you blush, but you are the best partner in crime and the best co-collaborator anyone could ever imagine. I don't know how we pulled this off, but we did. And I'm so grateful. I love you. And I thank you so much for everything that you did. And on that note, thank you, everyone. I'm also going to say one last note on the, speaking of I love you, thank you to my husband and my family, because they, Kristen and Adrian, you'll know this, our families had to, they were missing us, missing in action for the last couple of weeks. So thank you to our families, my husband, Nick, and my family. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here, for making this happen. And we're looking forward to 2023, and I'll hand over to Kristen and Adrian for some last words. So thank you very much, everyone.
I'll let Adrian give the last word. I'll just say, Caroline, you are a phenomenal, inspirational leader. This would not have happened without you last year. it certainly would not have continued this year without you. And we really appreciate your dedication, your passion, your energy, your enthusiasm every day, every hour of every day, which I think we have shared together over the past week or so. And thanks for being the rock and the force behind what is Douglass Week. And as we grow, particularly important to have the strong leadership that you provide. So thank you so much for everything you do for all of us, for the Douglass family and legacy, and for what's to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you.
I was going to do the same thing. Just thank these two
I can't do that.
amazing women. These two amazing women right here. Thank you from the Douglass Week team. Thank you from everybody. You two are fantastic for leading us and doing all this great stuff. So thank you so much. And a big thank you from Douglass Week, obviously, to everybody around the world. This is such a massive sort of collaborative effort. And it's truly wonderful to be a part of. So.
That is a perfect note to end on. I would say also a last thank you also to Tim, Dr. Tim Groenland, who's one of the other founders of Douglass Week. And Tim, we miss you, and we are very grateful for you to still participate despite everything that you're doing. And thank you for that. Thank you, everyone.
Caroline, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. But I do think there are a couple of other members of the Globe Lane team that were not mentioned tonight, and I just wanted to mention their names, and please help me if I forget anybody. But Nicole Morris is a participant in Globe Lane. She was a great collaborator during Douglass Week last year and has continued working on her music with Paul Stovall, Nicole Sabu, and others. And we're really excited and appreciative that she's agreed to join our team. She, of course, is the daughter of Ken Morris, who is also on the team. And she is the great granddaughter of Frederick Douglass. Hannah Rose Murray, who we've mentioned before, but just wanted to mention again, is joining us with Globe Lane. We're really excited. Paul and Nikhil. Who else have I missed?
Ken
Besides the team here.
Ken is there. Ken is also there. And I guess there's so much more to say about Globe Lane, and we will talk so much more about Globe Lane. You will hear so much more about it. And thank you for mentioning those people. Apologies if we've forgotten anyone. We love you all. We thank you. And I would say one last time, happy Douglass Week, everyone. And goodbye. We'll see you for Douglass Week 2023.